Good evening. I'm Sergeant Candidate 123. My analysis of the problem is one of my officers has arrived on a dispatched robbery in progress call at the First National Bank. Upon his arrival, he observed a injured subject lying in a pool of blood approximately 25 feet from the bank. He could also hear screaming coming from the inside. Another issue we face is we don't know if the injured subject is a suspect or a complainant. We also don't know how many suspects are inside the bank, how many hostages, or if there's anyone injured inside. My goal is to alleviate the threat to life while preserving life. That includes the citizens, the officers, as well as the suspects. Additionally, my goal is to preserve the evidence. As incident commander, I'm going to immediately start the 7 critical tasks while I'm en route to the scene. I will secure and establish communication by confirming with my officer that there's actually a threat. I'll advise him to maintain officer safety while having a good visual of the injured subject as well as the entrance to the bank. I will also explain to him that I would also advise him to be aware of his surroundings because with robberies, there's usually a suspect in a getaway car. I'll also advise all units to the scene code 1. That includes all officers on code 3s and below to immediately respond to the scene, as well as any additional units from outside districts and jurisdictions. I will also request at least 2 sergeants to my scene for entry teams upon my arrival. I will also advise dispatch and patrol to switch to a patrol tactical channel so that our interactions will not be interrupted. I'm then going to notify my lieutenant and the command center of the situation. My next task would be to identify any danger or kill zones as well as a safe route to the scene. I'll do that prior to my arrival by contacting my on-scene officer, asking him of his direct location and of his surroundings. Upon my arrival, I'm going to notify dispatch and officers of the safest route to the scene as well as for HFD and EMS. I will have patrol units to set an inner perimeter with red caution tape as well as an outer perimeter in yellow caution tape. The red caution tape is for specific directed only units and police personnel. I will also establish a command post to coordinate police response as well as gather any intelligence. Additionally, I'm going to direct the staging area for mobilization. I will then instruct a unit to travel with HFD and the injured subject to the hospital in an attempt to identify the injured person as well as any pertinent information that we can get. Now we'll have dispatch contact the listed emergency contact for the bank and to have them en route, also to gain access to the cameras inside as well as a floor plan to the inside of the bank. I will then designate 2 entry teams of 3 to 5 officers, each team to include the 2 sergeants that I requested earlier. This is for the rear entry as well as the front entrance. These 2 entry teams will be equipped with ballistic vests, tactical gear, long rifles, helmets, and they will also utilize a robot with camera for live footage to display to our command staff. I'll then contact dispatch to see if there's any additional calls dropping at the location with any additional information that I can bolo identity of the suspects, if they have long rifles, the type of weapons, and if there's any injured person that we have been able to obtain that information. I will then have dispatch notify FBI as well as CID per our department policy, because it involves a bank. I will then request SWAT and H&T for additional resources to be on hand. I'm also requesting our media relations unit to post a stay out of the area on our social media. Next, I'll have traffic enforcement handle the traffic to deter the traffic out of our area. I'll also have Command Center notify Transtar to deter traffic, as well as update apps such as Waze to deter the traffic from our area as well. Fox will also be requested for an additional resource, and I will make sure multiple EMS is on scene for any additional injuries that come our way. I will periodically get on the air to remind my officers to maintain professionalism, officer safety, as well as to remind them of our mission, which is to preserve life. If my 2 entry teams are successful in extraction of the suspects peacefully, then SWAT and H&T will not be utilized. If they are unsuccessful, I will seek instruction from the SWAT supervisor on scene. At the conclusion, I will air a reminder to all officers to complete their incident reports, download their body-worn cameras, and to complete any use of force prior to the end of their shift. I'll then thank them for the great teamwork and just coming together and all of us working together to neutralize the threat and to preserve the life as best we could. Immediately following the incident, I'm going to complete my after action report, my significant event report, and my supplement. I'll also update my supervisors of all action taken and any injury sustained. At our next roll call, I'm going to debrief with my officers regarding the incident. I'll make certain to commend all my officers again on a job well done, and we will discuss what we did well as what we could have improved on. This concludes my scene scenario.